Hey guys, welcome to this recap of New Zealand's biggest gap year, where a couple of years ago, Robin and I did 365 days of 365 activities in New Zealand. And on day 16, we visited Zealong, which is New Zealand's only tea plantation. We get there just in time for the morning tour to tell us how the tea is made and stuff. We are walking through a garden with some sculptures which help, depict like how tea is made traditionally back in Asia compared to how it's now made in this tea plantation in New Zealand, to give it that organic flavour and taste. And they pride themselves on this tea being 100% pure New Zealand. It's the purest tea in the world.
So the story goes that the guy which started Zealong, which his name is Mr. Chan, was walking around New Zealand and he walked around and saw some camellias. He was really surprised that camellia grow in New Zealand because it's something which is usually specific to Taiwan. Tea are a type of camellia. So he's like, okay, camellia grows in New Zealand, it seems easy to do, I'm going to get some camellia trees and I'm going to make some tea here in New Zealand, and that's going to be awesome. You get 15,000 plants, put them in customs. Now New Zealand customs are pretty tough, so he has to leave them for like 2 months or something like that. Almost all of them die and he's left with like 70 plants. Now those plants remaining are actually the strongest because they survived the tough customs process. So it's perfect for him. He's getting the strongest plant and reproduce them and go slowly and plant them in the Waikato because there is a lot of humin and sun and all of that. And now he has like over 1.5 million and soon he's going to have 2 million plants. And he's making the best tea in the country, some of the most recognized tea in the world.
So yeah, New Zealand is an unusual place to make tea. It's not high up in the mountains as tea is made in Asia. We reached the tea house. At the back of the tea house, there's like a ceramic wooden table with some stools to sit on. Like, it's quite a fancy old table, and we go sit round it with our lovely new friends, who is 4 lovely New Zealand ladies. Let's try some tea. The table's set up with like so many different apparatus. There's like a saucer with an aroma cup and a tasting cup, and then there's several different teapots with filters, and then another jug, a timer, a thermometer. It's all going on this table. It looks more like a science experiment is about to take place here rather than tea tasting. Where I'm from, you're lucky to get a cup, let alone a saucer for your tea. There's 5 different flavours from Zealong, starting with green tea, then there's a lighter tea, then there's another tea, which Robin thinks tastes like popcorn, and when he makes this opinion known to everyone else around the table, they just all stare back with disbelief. And it's an awkward moment. And then the tea flavour goes on to a dark tea and then a black tea, which is like your strong English breakfast tea, as they call it over here.
Along the way, while explaining us the whole process, German took the time to make us smell the tea and taste some different teas and how to rest it. To be fair, it's the best tea I ever had in my life. That's it. It's so much better than your tea bag and everything, and it makes me feel and know tea a bit more personally.
I've never actually had proper tea, like fancy tea like this before, and you can really taste the difference and smell the difference. Part of the tea tasting experience involves pouring your jug of tea into your aroma cup, and then you're putting your tea tasting cup on top of your aroma cup, turning it over. You turn it twice to the left, twice to the right, pull the aroma cup away from the tea, and the tea will fill up your tasting cup in a magical way. And this is something that takes us a while to perfect, actually. We get plenty of chances to try to perfect this tea dance. It's always quite fun. You just like pour the tea into the aroma cup, then put the pour the tea into the aroma cup, put the tasting cup on top of the aroma cup, flip the cups round, do a dance, do a twist, take the aroma cup off, then twist it back round, and bam! You've got yourself some tea. As well as the tea tasting dance, we also do a tea pouring competition. The first time we do this, I am winning. I swear to God, I am winning the tea pouring competition, and Robin just nudges me from the side so that I end up splashing everywhere. And I've never witnessed such bad sportsmanship in my life.
Let's see who can go higher.
All right, here we go. Competition. Competition.
High tea.
Oh, you shit.
I went way higher than you though.
Spinning all around. She just lost.
Bloody French.
We're gonna have to try again. Alright. Laura versus Robin, take 2.
All right, they're having a competition.
Why we do the tipping thing?
Oh, it's really to appreciate the aroma of the tea on its own and the body of the taste. So they call the phoenix and the dragon.
Oh, very good.
German then goes, I have a surprise for you. It wasn't anything like that, but this is how I choose to remember it. Robin's like, I hope it's cake, because he didn't eat enough last night and he hasn't just had enough tea. But it turns out we're going to be having high tea. I don't know if you guys have seen what high tea looks like, but I've only heard whispers of high tea. You get a plate of lots of different cakes and stuff, and you drink posh tea with it. And that's exactly what we did. We had a small tart, we had tiny little salad bowls, we had tiny little other things, we had macaroons and this chocolate cake and this really cool like segment of orange which was crystallized and sugary. It was quite weird. I've never had anything like it. It was really nice. So long, Zealong.
Alright, so today I'm doing my certificate of fitness, which is basically a quick check of the vehicle that I have to do every 6 months. And then it's a sheet like that the mechanic is going to fill up. So when I did like 3 guys checking the camper van for a certificate of fitness, and they all like, they grab the light, they ask each other questions, they all look intrigued, I don't know what's happening, I don't like it. So yeah, I am stressed.
As you can probably guess from the fact that our camper van is a pile of shit on wheels, that it failed its certificate of fitness. It was a given, really. I don't even know why we bothered. We should have just run that camper van straight into a ditch and called it a day. And we are just like doing a wild goose chase around Hamilton trying to find a place which will fix this camper van in like the next week or so, because our certificate of fitness is actually going to run out, and if that happens, we cannot continue on this road trip until the camper van is fixed, and that would be a bit of an issue, to say the least.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and we're just going to take the time now to go through a couple of questions and comments that we received about Zealong. First of all, we got a comment from Albie saying, thanks for the vid, I live in Hamilton and I didn't even know this place existed. Yeah, that is kind of what you realise as you're travelling, how it kind of makes you reflect on how little you actually travel your own country. And as we're travelling around New Zealand and we're talking to a lot of New Zealanders, there's a lot of things that New Zealanders don't even realise exists in their own country. I guess where you are, you always sort of take things for granted a little bit. So yeah, it's cool to actually just explore your own backyard. You never know what's really going to be there. And we also got a question from Amber saying, can you just head for the high tea, not the whole tour? So yeah, when we got the whole tour package where we were going on a tea plantation tour, but we also got to do high tea afterwards. So there's a couple of options that you can do with Zealong. You can just do the tour by itself and then sort of do the tea tasting section that you saw in the video. But then you can do an add-on, which is basically doing the high tea experience that we also did at the end. You don't necessarily have to do the high tea experience if you just want to tour the plantation and do the tea tasting. But on the other side of that, you can just go to Zealong to do the high tea experience and not do all the tours and stuff like that. So that second option would probably be good if you are, I don't know, wanting to treat someone, or if you're living locally and you don't want to necessarily go on the same tour over and over again. Just going there for high tea is a pretty special thing to do. Alright then guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do have any questions of your own, make sure to put them in the comments below where we can answer them for you. Otherwise, join us for our live Q&A session, which we do every single Sunday, 8 AM New Zealand time here on YouTube, where you can come into the live chat and ask your questions directly to us. Otherwise, check out nzpocketguide.com, where you can scroll through thousands of articles and get a whole bunch of information on anything to do with traveling in New Zealand, whether you're just doing a couple of weeks on a camper van road trip, or if you're doing a whole year on a working holiday visa. We cover all that information for you on that website, and it's free, so why not? Alright, see you for the next video, where we're going to be checking out what we did on day 17 of New Zealand's biggest gap year.